Okay, let's do some practice on some 7th chord inversions. I'll do these 4 in front of you on the camera, and then we'll have a worksheet, and I'll work some out just kind of on a pen, and we can do some practicing from there as well. The more you do these, the more they're going to make sense, but I want to walk you through some so we can see how it goes. Okay, on the other video, I kind of did them to the side, which is great if you have room. Sometimes you don't. You need a scratch piece of paper. So I'm going to write a bass clef right here. If you don't like the bass clef and you'd rather use any other clef, you can, but I'm just going to do this. Always start by writing the bass note. The bass note is really, really important. You're not looking for the root right now. You just want the bass note down, and you want to write everything within the octave. So right here I have an F sharp, so I'm going to write in my F sharp. Okay. Right here I have a D, so I'm going to put in my D. Right here I have a C, so I'm going to write a C, and I can tell my C is going to make a second with the D. So I'm going to write my C kind of to the side right here. And so I notice now that this is going to be a D chord because I see the second, and the top note of the second is going to be the root. So this is going to be some flavor of a D chord. D, F sharp, A. What kind of a triad is that? D, F sharp, A is major, so I'll keep the capital letter. D, F sharp, A, C natural. Now in the key of D, the C would be sharp, so this is going to be a minor 7, and in that case you get a dominant. So it's going to be a D dominant. Okay, so you can write dom, or remember also, if we're looking at lead sheet notation and things like that, you actually don't have to write the dom, I'll write it. And now I got to figure out the inversion. So what is it? D, F sharp, A. In this case, the 5th is in the bass. So if the 5th is in the bass, that means it's going to be a 4, 3. Okay? Let's go ahead and do this one right here. So this one I'm going to write my A flat. I go A flat. I want the B. Well, right now the B is over an octave, so I'm going to write my B right there. And I have an F, and I have a D. Well, I can see right now, there's my second. This is going to be some flavor of a B chord, okay? So I look at my B, D, F, A flat. That's my actual chord. So B, D, F, I know that that's a diminished chord. If you don't see that right away, you have to remember that B is the oddball one. The 2 above it are going to be a quality higher. So B, D sharp, F sharp would be major. So since it's D and F, they're both lowered, that's a diminished chord. So that's going to be a diminished. Now I just have to look at the 7th. The 7th is going to be an A flat. Now is that a minor 7 or is it that a diminished 7? Well, an octave, B to a B, just think about that. Now go down 1/2 step, that would be A sharp. Okay, well, that's not A sharp, okay. So let's go down to A. Now we're at a minor 7. Well, it's not an A, it's an A flat. That's a diminished 7. So it's a B fully diminished. And the 7th is in the bass. So that's going to be a 4, 2. Okay? Let's take a look at this next one. I'm going to put F in the bass. And I have a C flat. Okay, well I want to keep them within an octave. So I'm going to write my C flat right there. A little messy, sorry about that. And then we have an A flat, which I'll put right there. That's a nice pretty triad so far. And then I'm going to have an E flat right there. Oh, it's still pretty. Look at that. So that right there is root position. So it's going to be a 7th chord. So what kind is it going to be? It's going to be off of the F. So F, A flat, C flat. Ugh. Well, if I have F, A flat, C flat, I know already that that's going to be a diminished chord. So I'm going to write F, and I'm going to write diminished. I'm going to write the 7 right now, but I don't know if that's going to be half diminished or fully diminished, okay? So an F to an F is an octave. So if I go down to an E, that's going to be a major 7. Well, it's not. It's an E flat. So if I go down, that's a minor 7. It's not a diminished 7. It's a minor 7. So that's going to be a half diminished chord, okay? And lastly, let me go over here. Let's see if I have let me just analyze this really quick. I'm going to do one little quick thing right here. There. I want to make sure that I have all of them, so that'll fix what I want to do. Okay, so let's start with our bass note right here, and the bass note right here is a B, so I'm going to write him. Now put everything within an octave. There's a D, cool. Right here I have a G, cool. And then right here I have my F sharp. Well, where's the F sharp going to fit? Well, the best place to fit the F sharp is probably to just shove him in right there. So now I see my second. The top note of the second is going to be a G. So if this helps you, you can even write this. G, B, D, F sharp. I just wrote the letter names, but I stacked them up in root position so I can help figure out what the chord is. Well, G, B, D is major, so I know it's going to be a G major chord, so I'm going to write a big capital G. Now, is it dominant or major? Well, if it's major, it's going to be a major 7, and G to an F sharp, well, that's only a half step away from the octave. That is a major. So I want to write M, so I know that it's major, and now I have to think of the inversion. Well, B is the third, right? The third of the chord is the lowest note, and we learned that that is going to be a 6, 5, okay? So you just got to practice them, and the more you do, the more you're going to start to see them, and you're going to see them quicker than the way I work them out. But hopefully I did that slow enough for it to make sense to you, and now you can do some problems on your own and feel like you are an expert on recognizing 7th chord inversions.